How do you find a receiver? How do you make Darnell Mooney a number 2?
Yeah, so it needs to happen before next year, obviously, but maybe there's a way to do it this year.
Well, we'll see if the Panthers are open for business. Jay Glazer says now that Matt Rule's been fired, teams are going to be calling the Panthers trying to trade for some of their players as they hope that Carolina will look to stockpile picks as they rebuild. The Bears need help at wide receiver, obviously. You could do it with a top 10 pick in this year's draft. You could do it with $100 million plus in cap space, but the free agent receivers this year are not very good. DJ Moore is very good. But with Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, it seemingly has, and Matt Rule, who wants to run the ball 40 times a game, he's disappeared from Carolina's offense. But this is a 25-year-old player who signed a contract extension. He's a $20 million cap hit next year, $16 million the year after that, $15 million the year after that. So it's cost certainty, and it goes down. He has 3 straight 1,100-plus receiving yard seasons on his resume already at 25. And his best year, where he had 18 yards per catch, Teddy Bridgewater was his quarterback. So it's not like this guy has put up numbers with awesome quarterbacks. Matt Rule got there. He stopped being productive. He was productive with bad quarterbacks before that. What's instructive, I think, about DJ Moore,
and the last 3 years, those of those 1,100 yard seasons, not the big average, as you say.
Yeah, not the big average, but he has been a consistently productive player. The touchdown numbers aren't where you would like them, but he is a very, very talented player. He's young. He's under contract. What's interesting about that is you can look to last year and see where some wide receiver movement or contracts happen.
See, that's the thing. I remember learning that, it's the year before they become a free agent where all of a sudden the player has the leverage and the team has to make some choices, and that's what you're talking about.
Right.
Here.
So, if you were a first-round pick, the team has the 5th-year option that they can put on you. If you're a 2nd through 7th round pick, it's different. So, last year, the 2019 class of 2nd round and later players were a year away from free agency. So they were looking for contract extensions. And a lot of them, you might remember in the offseason, held out. Deebo Samuel held out.
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf held out. And A.J. Brown got traded because Tennessee didn't want to pay him. So and then Terry McLaurin also signed a deal. So what did they all sign? Deebo, 3 years, $71 million, $58 guaranteed. Terry McLaurin, 3 years, $68 million, $35 guaranteed. DK Metcalf, 3 years, $72 million, $58 guaranteed. So Deebo and Metcalf signed virtually the same contract. McLaurin a little less. A.J. Brown signed a little more. He signed 4 years, $100 million, but with the same guaranteed. But the Eagles had to trade a first-round pick for him. So A.J. Brown, the most expensive in terms of total dollars, and they traded a first-round pick for him. So who are the 2020 second round or later wide receivers that are going to be up for contract extensions?
So these are the guys who coming this offseason will be in the position of those guys that you just mentioned, if they're good enough to hold out or if their teams are considering what to do with them.
T. Higgins. I'd be a yes.
I'd be a big yes on T. Higgins, who's the number 2 in Cincinnati, but is fully capable of being the big-bodied number 1 right here.
I assume since he will pay him.
Possession guy. You want a guy who will win you a slant in a big moment?
Yeah. Go up and get it. Red zone. Now, I assume since he'll pay him, but maybe they think we need to spend money on our offensive line. We pay Burrow. We pay Jamar Chase. We can't sign T. Higgins.
They have Boyd as well.
Yeah, as a slot guy. Maybe since he says we're open for business on T. Higgins. Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh, boy. Colts are going to keep him.
I assume so as well.
They love him.
Then then I just went down the list. Laviska Shenault, KJ Hamler, Chase Claypool, Van Jefferson, Denzel Mims. I don't think any of those guys would cost a lot to trade for if their teams don't want to sign him. Devin Duvernay of the Ravens.
Yeah. But he's
Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis of the Bills.
Gabe Davis is outrageous. Did you see some of the catches he made yesterday?
Yeah,
he
man.
made a one-hander in stride to catch, a 50-yard touchdown? It was outrageous.
So those are all second round or later draft picks.
I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere in Buffalo.
And again, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, 3 of the 4 re-signed with their team. So the odds are that the good ones on this list re-sign with their team.
But none of those teams, in terms of Deebo and Metcalf, had another true number one. Tyler Lockett is not a number one. Brandon Ayuk is not a number one.
Yeah, Lockett's good, but yeah.
But like Buffalo, who has Diggs, they might be in a trick bag with Gabe Davis. It's possible.
Right, and T. Higgins, potentially the same thing. So like those are the names that Ryan Poles is going to look at. But it's also instructive in you can find good wide receivers in the draft, not in the first round. But why I like the idea of trading for DJ Moore is it's not going to cost a first-round pick. Because if A.J. Brown was younger, right, and cost a first-round pick, DJ Moore will not cost a first-round pick. So let's call it a second-round pick. You get him now. You get him for 9 games now, 10 games now, if you traded for him in the next couple of weeks. I have no idea if Carolina wants to trade for him. But now the rest of this year is about Fields developing chemistry with him also. And you go into next year now having your first-round pick to take your 3-technique defensive tackle, to take your left tackle to upgrade from Braxton Jones or Larry Borum, or to take another receiver and all of a sudden have DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney and the Smith Njaba, the kid from Ohio State, or Marvin Harrison Jr., or whomever the top 10 receiver of choices. And all of a sudden you go from having one of the worst receiver corps in the NFL to one of the 5 or 10 best in the NFL.
The thing I really like about the idea of doing it is that you get the look, and maybe DJ Moore is your one, and you're like, no, we're fine. So let's get another wide receiver in round 2 or 3 and go ahead and use that round 1 pick, that early pick, on a defensive lineman, which they desperately need. And I know it's not sexy, but my God, a stud defensive lineman could transform that defense.
It frees you up in the draft.
We could go tackle if you need to, but I think they might be okay. In my opinion, we'll see.
Whomever,
whatever,
whether it's a top defensive tackle, a top offensive tackle, or again, I would never hate them adding another wide receiver because you can never have too many of them. And imagine what you think Tom Brady enjoys throwing to Evans and Godwin and Gronk, when they were winning. Like it's valuable.
You got DJ Moore contract information for me? What he's re-signed to?
It's $20 million next year, $16 million the year after that, $15 million the year after that.
So it goes down when you'll start to need to spend to augment. $20 million next year you can actually absorb
easily. They've got over $100 million in cap space. The Bears right now have plenty of cap space to do anything they want.
Now I wonder about the pro scouting. I wonder how well they know DJ Moore. I wonder if they know exactly what kind of receiver he is, what kind of routes he can. I know he's not huge.
6 feet, 210.
Right. So is he that guy who can be the security blanket that you want a one to be? Man, it's 3rd and 5. I need somebody who knows where the sticks are and will go and find the open spot in the zone and just get there. I don't know if he's that guy.
I think that talent matters a lot. And going out and getting another super talented player who's been productive in substandard offensive situations and substandard quarterback situations only makes Justin Fields better. It frees you up in the draft. It wouldn't cost a first-round pick, and you can afford the money, and you could spend the rest of this year getting some chemistry developed with him and Justin Fields. So if he can be had for a second-round pick, put me down for a firm yes. Keep those other names in mind. If for some reason one of their team, Buffalo doesn't want to sign Gabe Davis since he doesn't sign T. Higgins, and if not, you're going to be looking to the top of the draft.